My wife lied to the police about my stepdaughter. 2 days ago, my son Jay, 17, came to my job upset and crying. He told me my stepdaughter, Kay, 19, came home with a ton of new things, and when he checked his room, the money he had been saving was gone. Kay doesn't have a job, and when she does have money, she spends it like it'll burn a hole in her pocket. My boss let me go home early, and I went home to ask Kay who took her shopping. Kay told me she used her own money. I told her to tell me the truth, and she told me to mind my own business. Jay has been working at Papa Murphy's and has been saving it. He was saving to surprise the dad of his friend who passed away, Bo, for his first birthday without him. His friends had given him money to load onto his car to pay at the pump. It's this weekend for 2 days, and they were going to treat Dad. Most kids would be saving for their first car or cool clothes, but he wanted to just be there for his friend's dad. Instead of arguing back and forth with Kay, I checked the camera we have to check on the dogs. It only caught her legs, but it was Kay going to Jay's room. The rule in my house is that we don't go into each other's room. It's a mutual respect of privacy. I told Kay she was caught and that she needed to get everything to return it all. Kay started throwing every excuse. I had it saved for months. How do you know it was me? Someone must have broken in. Her mom came home and she burst into tears, saying we were ganging up on her. I showed my wife the video and what happened. Kay ended up saying, why does he get to have all the money anyway? He worked his ass off. I told my wife she needed to make Kay return everything, and she said no, that it would be embarrassing to return it all, and that when Kay got a job she would repay. I said it'll be more embarrassing when she gets arrested for stealing $400. We argue and I tell my wife Kay broke a non-negotiable rule as well as the law by stealing. She's 19, she doesn't pay rent and needs to leave. My wife says if you kick her out, I'm going to. So I asked if she was willing to replace the money stolen. We have separate bank accounts, force Kay to return, or she could give me her half of the rent early. We split all bills. No. They packed a few bags and left. I was not going to rip the bags of stuff out of her hands. I don't think getting physical would have been the smartest thing to do. Before you make me out to be the asshole, I do not have extra money for him to still go. I can only replace the small amount back to his friends, and it's not enough to make the trip. He went to bed without eating and has been crushed. I posted to a sub, am I the asshole, and was flooded with people telling me I should have called the police. So this morning, this is what I did. The solution was that the officer would call my wife to bring Kay to the station to talk, or she could return the items and pay back Jay. Sort of a scare tactic because I was told it is a civil matter. My wife straight up effing lied to the officer and said she gave the money to Kay. Since I don't have actual proof of Jay's money, no proof other than her walking to his room, nothing can be done. I'm livid. I literally watched Jay get his heart broken at the police station. Through tears, he said, how could they do this to me? What was all this for? I just wanted to see Bo's dad. Jay is my son from a previous relationship. I had to lecture him on not keeping large amounts of cash in his room, but he didn't think it would get stolen. My wife and Kay have support. Staying with family, this won't affect him. Update, 5 days later. I know a lot of people are waiting for an update after reading my first post. I was removed because too many comments about money. Please do not mention crowdfunding or GoFundMe. I don't know if this update will stay up before it's taken down. I'm not deleting the post. In case you didn't read my first post, message me if you want to read it. My 17-year-old son has been saving up all summer to go to visit his dad's friend on his first birthday of Jay's friend since he passed. I did not know he had so much cash in his room. I would have told him to put in a safe, but I'm not going to victim blame. My son shouldn't have to worry about someone stealing from him. The rule in my house is no one goes into each other's room, parents included. It's not so much of a rule, but a mutual respect thing. My 19-year-old stepdaughter stole his money. Her mom refused to make her return the stuff she got, and I almost took the bags from her, but I'm glad I didn't because my wife lied to the police about the money, so she could have easily lied about me putting hands on her. The police said it was a civil matter since my wife said she gave Kay the money, which was a lie. My wife said if I was kicking Kay out, she was going to. I didn't stop them. My wife and Kay have support. Staying with family, this won't affect them. This weekend, my wife showed back up with the sheriff's escort. She came armed with receipts showing that she bought the furniture in our rental, and that is all she needed to take everything. I tried explaining and gave her cash for some of the items, but guess what? Just like with Jay, cash doesn't have a trail. Her family helped her move everything in under an hour. With how quickly this all happened, the cynic in me thinks my wife had this planned well before what happened. My wife contacted the landlord and paid a lot of money to break the lease. Almost double the money that Kay stole, but of course she didn't offer to repay Jay. After everyone left and my landlord called, I had a mini breakdown. Everything was moving faster than I could comprehend and honestly felt like I was watching a movie. Jay came up to me and said, I'm so sorry you lost everything because of me. And it's not a big deal. I'll tell mom it's okay that Kay needed it more than me. That's all I needed to snap out of it. I told him he is my everything, not her, not the house, not the furniture, not the food that was in the fridge. Yes, super cheesy, but there's nothing my wife can do, say, or give to make me overlook or be okay with what they did to him. I asked him, are you going to feel comfortable around them? What about when you are gone? I don't want you to have to worry about. But she was still next. Kay is not going to get away with this. My wife made a choice when the police officer asked her about Kay. She chose to defend and protect Kay, just like I am choosing to protect Jay. If Jay isn't comfortable, I'm not comfortable, and I told him that. The people in my life have been slamming me online saying things like, I'm uncomfortable that he would choose his son over his wife, and his son is almost an adult. It's time to grow up and be a man. It doesn't matter what age I am. I will always protect Jay. I blocked everyone after that. Yes, he is almost an adult, but that doesn't mean it's okay to steal from him. Having a crime or something bad happen to you isn't a rite of passage to be an adult. He is a responsible, hardworking, honest, kind, almost man, but he is also the 8-year-old who used to run to me every day after work with a huge smile like I hung the moon. I cannot afford the full rent, so luckily my landlord has agreed to let us leave by the 1st. The only place we have to go to is my mom's, who lives across the state. This means I will have to pull Jay out of his last year of high school and transfer him. I have to sell what little we have left here, and that might include selling Jay's beater car, but the silver lining is Jay and I can transfer locations for work. Mama has always been more of a mother to Jay than my wife. Moms are healing at any age. I'm not saying I'm not devastated, that I'm not suffering emotional whiplash, and I'm not saying the things that are being said about me in real life aren't affecting me, because it is, but my son needs me. He is still grieving his friend, missing his senior year with his friends, and I'm not the kind of parent to say, because I said so, we are moving, and you don't get a choice or opinion on it. That isn't me. Edit, please keep it civil in the comments. I don't want this to get pulled because I've had a ton of people wanting an update. The furniture she took was bought before we got married, except for the couch and TV. We split all bills. We were only married for 2 years. She's an accountant that saves every single receipt, even if she just buys water. Guys, good grief, this is my last edit. I'm not mad about her taking the things she took. I only added that part because my son thought I lost everything. Honestly, she did me a favor. I have to drive clear across the state to get to my mom's and wouldn't have been able to afford to store anything big since apartments have long wait lists. I do not care about what she took. Top comment. I can't wait for Kay to steal from someone who has firm evidence and doesn't cover it up. Her mother is doing her a major disservice by covering it up and by showing that she's willing to lie to the police. Had her mother chosen to discipline her harshly for this could have been the moment that turned Kay's life around. I think Kay will likely face prison time in the future, and if her mother keeps lying to the police officers, she might be there with her. Also, I truly hope that someone from this town, one of Jay's friend, or anyone that knows these people, sees this post and Kay and her mother are embarrassed anyway. Reply to that. When Kay winds up in jail, I hope there's enough evidence to take her mom down too. Mom will never get another job as an accountant unless she works for another crook. But even then, crooks don't want a thieving